up, YouTube? You're watching the Skynet Gen Network, and today we're going to be reviewing Salem Season 2, Episode 5, entitled The Wine Dark Sea. So we last left the episode, see episode 4. Alden has found Mather. He has struck him. And we pick off right from there in episode 5. Alden has Mather tied up. He's not really. I don't know what he's looking for answers, and I don't know why he's attacked them. Wrong place, wrong time, I guess. And now that he's attacked them, he's gotta keep him tied up and keep him shut. And he's gonna, I guess, use him, manipulate him, try to get him to help him, even though he says that he's gonna do this by himself, alone, so I don't know. But anyway, we are then taken to the scene where Hawthorne approaches Hawthorne approaches Anne's house, and he's like, he's having suspicions about her and what she was doing in Boston, how she ended up in Boston, and no one noticed that she left. Because remember, she teleported using that mask, her father's mask. Her father's witch mask. And so he's like, there's one way out of this. You can marry me, or we'll have some experiments run on you. He's just trying to scare her or whatever, and he's trying to marry her. He's been trying to marry her since like episode 1, I think. Claiming that he needs to protect her. And that's the one way, because remember, her parents are dead. She killed her parents. She couldn't control her powers. So, she's alone. So she's a woman in this time period with no one to protect her, and he's like offering to help her. She doesn't want to marry him, obviously. So she goes to see Mary. And Mary's like, well, you can marry him, kind of like what Mary did with George. She ended up marrying him and manipulating him to being her servant. Her slave, in a sense. And, Mary's like, well, there's also option 2 where you can marry Cotton Mather. And, Anne is certainly fond of him. I think Cotton Mather might be fond of her as well, but he's a priest, and then he was in love with another woman, so that complicates things. And Mary even says this, he's had another love. He was in love with this whore named Gabriella, and he loved her, and so it might be not that easy to convince him to marry you, even though you might have feelings for him, But Anne thinks that she will convince him to marry her, but Mary's like, be prepared if he declines, and she gives her a piece of paper with a spell on it that will help her in achieving this. But before she hands it over, she's like, but you have to tell me who this Countess Marburg is. Because remember, previous episode she gave her a diary. This Book of Shadows diary, in which case I think I ended up calling it a Book of Secrets diary. It's a Book of Shadows diary. It's not National Treasure 2, no. It's Book of Shadows. And remember, she can read everything that Anne writes in that diary, but Anne doesn't know. So, she tells Anne, I know that you know someone by the name of Countess Marburg, tell me who she is. And Anne's like, nah, she doesn't, I don't know who you're talking about. Eventually, she ends up telling Mary, and Mary gives her the paper with the spell on it. So Anne then approaches Cotton Mather's home, hoping to marry him. But Alden is still in the house, and he's like, so So when they hear the knock on the door, Autumn's like, well, I gotta untie you now, because obviously Alden's not gonna open the door, because he wants to still have people think that he's dead. So he goes, unties Mather, walks him to the door with a knife up to his back, and he's like, you know, we all get what he's trying to say. I mean, we've seen enough movies to be like, if you do anything, I'm gonna use this. And so he opens the door. There's Anne. She's asking him, she's telling him that Hawthorne's asked her to marry him. She wants his advice. She kisses him, so that implies that she's trying to marry him, I guess. And he kind of like sees this, but if he says yes, she's gonna, well, first of all, be happy, and she's gonna walk into the house. And the whole point of Alden holding him with that knife behind him is to keep her away, get her out of here. We don't need another person knowing anything. So he declines, in a way. She kind of is upset about it. She doesn't let it show. And she somehow gets a piece of his hair. And then when she gets home eventually, she goes home. So the next scene, Hawthorne is holding a meeting. And he's going on and on. Like, this guy is getting more, like, just, he's going further than he needs to be going. I mean, one minute he's just this random guy. Next thing you know, he's proclaiming that he's a magistrate. He's not even a magistrate yet. Then he eventually becomes magistrate. And now he's holding a meeting, and he is telling everyone that George Sibley is incapable of leading, and that he wants to be the new governor. Like, what? You just wanted to be magistrate. Now you want to be the governor of the town? Come on. He wants to be the leader, and George is sitting there, like, quiet. He's not saying anything, and Mary's like, say something. This is your last chance if you want to stay alive. Or not stay alive, if you want your life to be normal again. So he gets up, and he pretty much shows that he still got it. He shows that he can even stand up and walk. And, he gives quite a speech in the show. While he's giving a speech, he's like, let God be my witness. And then when he says that, you see just lightning just start flashing. And Mary's little charm necklace that Anne filled up with the vial, with the well water she filled up, it starts, like, shaking a little bit. So we know, well, Mary knows that something's coming. But we all know that this Countess Marburg, she's coming. That is a sign. So then we're taken to the scene where Mercy is at Mercy's father's house. Mercy's trying to continue doing experiments on Isaac. Dolly, so she's preparing some kind of ritual thing on the floor, drawing something out. Isaac is upstairs. Dolly sneaks up upstairs, and, she can't take it anymore. She wants to help Isaac. She's tired of watching him being tortured, and she plans to help him escape, and, obviously she's going to escape with him. So she does that. Mercy's father gets in the way. She kind of, like, knocks him out, and they're off. They stroll off. And so then we're taken back to the scene in Mary's house, where she and George, she is happy with how he delivered his speech. She's like, okay, you're on your way to getting what I promised, getting your life back. But she's like, you've done well, but, you've got to rest. And so she takes that frog out again. And, usually when she takes the frog out, he's always like, no, not again, how much more punishment do I have to take? This time he just opens his mouth and allows her to put that frog down his throat, and which shows her that she has finally successfully made George into her servant. Because before he was kind of a slave, resisting. Now he's a servant, per se. Um, um, then we're taken to a scene where we finally see Countess Marburg. She finally makes her appearance, and she's there to confront Mary. Uh, Mary's taken shocked. The Countess is Mary sees an image of someone lying there, petrified. I'm going to use the Harry Potter term, petrified, because that's literally what the body of that person looked like. It was like petrified, it was like that. Um, the Countess is impressed by by how Mary carries herself, but she tells her that she is not the queen. So to not forget that. Um, so, Mary, is not scared. She is bold, and she's like, I know you need me alive. You're not gonna touch a hair on my body. And and Mary says, we shouldn't be fighting. We should be, we should fight alongside. So that's where that scene ends. Um, we're taken back to to Mercy's father's house. Mercy finds out that Isaac and Dolly have fled the house, and she just goes insane and just starts screaming, and she's gone crazy. Not that she wasn't crazy to begin with. Point that out. um, so then we're taken to the scene where Anne is at home. Is at home. She is experimenting. She's using. She took the hair from Mather, and now she's taken out that spell, a piece of paper with a spell, and she's going to try and do this spell, and to try and cast, I guess, this little love charm on Mather, now that he's declined her. Kind of like that thing that they in Harry Potter, uh, where Ron falls in love with, what's her name? Gosh, I don't remember her name. But there's a love potion. It's Half-Blood Prince. He's enchanted with this love potion. So same thing kind of here. Um, so what else happened? So actually, before Marburg left, she told Mary that she left her a little gift. And you're thinking, oh, she left her a little gift. I mean, they're parting on good terms. Well, clearly not. Clearly not, because at the end of the episode, we finally see what gift Marburg has given her. Um, we finally see it, and um, it's it's in Mary's room, in the bedroom where George Sibley is being held, and we are taken to the scene where you see this guy, George. This guy, yeah, George, is sitting in the chair. His head is tilted back, and water is just like spilling from his mouth. And we saw this type of thing being done in episode 2. I want to say, yes, episode 2, or maybe it might have been episode 1, I forget, where Marburg floods a person with water. Like, that's how she kills him. So she killed George. That is, that's big, because now she has killed Mary's big weapon. how is Salem gonna be now? How's Salem gonna run now? I mean, everyone's gonna know that George is dead. Somehow the word is gonna spread. I don't know how long Mary's gonna keep that, um, you know, that hidden. It's bound to get out, and once that's out, Hawthorne is gonna be all over that. Um, because he already wanted to become uh, the new leader of the town, and when word gets out that that George is dead, he's gonna be like what happened in the previous episode, where oh, that guy's dead, that means I'm automatically magistrate. Well, here it's gonna be like, oh, George is dead, I'm automatically leader. And this is huge because now Mary loses power. Now everyone thought that George was in control, but Mary has everything to lose now because she's no longer going to have any power. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens there, and I will actually show you guys what the clip was. Here, guys. Yeah, so that's how that episode ends. George Sibley is dead. Um, you know, Actually, before that happened, we saw Anne. So part of the doing that spell, she had to kill something she loved, and she was like, "What do I who?" Or she had to kill something that loved her, and she's like, "Who loves me?" And when she first started writing that diary, she saw this rat appeared out of nowhere, and she named it Mister. What the hell did she name this thing? Mister something. God damn it, I don't even remember. I don't remember what the Mr. Hutchinson or something. Anyway, she ends up realizing that that is something that loves her, so she ends up killing it as the sacrifice to complete this spell. She ends up burying it. John Alden is watching her secretly. When she's outside burying it. So I don't know if he knows that she's a witch or not, but it certainly looks like he's giving her this look like secret. Well, she doesn't see it, but like as if she is a witch, and he's thinking about whether he should kill her or not. But it doesn't happen, and then I was thinking, wow, if he kills her, this is gonna be like so unexpected. Like how does he even know she's a witch? If he kills her, this is gonna be like Game of Thrones season 3 episode 9 up in here. But it didn't happen. George ends up getting killed. I didn't expect George to get killed. But obviously it wasn't. Wouldn't I would have been more shocked if Anne got killed, especially since I find that she's a bigger character, and I mean she has all this power. She's like Jean. Um, Anne is like Jean from X-Men. She doesn't know the power she possesses, but once she does, better watch out. So So Anne is still alive, and it certainly would have been shocking if they killed her off. She is one of the main characters, but George gets killed off. Definitely unexpected. Um, because of that, I will. This episode was good. I will say. Had it not been for that, this episode would have been okay. Because the previous 4 episodes have been really good. This episode probably the least of the not as good as the other 4. Um, But George getting killed off certainly did make this episode better than it would have if they just, didn't kill anybody off, I guess. So yeah, that is my review for Salem Season 2, Episode 5. Hope you guys catch up on the show and start watching next Sunday, starting at 12 p.m. They're going to be showing all 5 episodes back to back. So 12 p.m. next Sunday, they'll be showing all 5 episodes. So for those of you who have missed it, so yeah. Thanks guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and as always, I will see you next time. And to be precise, I will see you next week for another review of Salem. So until then, I will see you. Peace out, guys.